Hi, Ken1171 here, and in this video, I want to show you the final version of the LockMaster tool. Um, First of all, let's take a look on what locking is in Poser and how it works. For then you will understand why my tool makes it better. So let's select a hand, and you can see here we can bend it, we can scale it, we can pose it, and if I apply another pose right now, all this will be lost. So if I have a pose where this character is holding a gun and it's a lot of work to make her hand hold the gun exactly in a convincing way, and I want to preserve this when I apply another pose, this is where lock is for. Okay, so if I come here to object with the hand selected, there is an option to lock it. If I click here, apparently nothing happened. Visually, I cannot see anything happening. But if I come here and try to bend again, I can't. If I want to change the scale, I can't. And if I want to change the posing, I can't. Why? Because I just locked it. If I come here with the hand selected, I can see that there is a check mark saying that this object is locked. Let's undo that. And now if I undo the posing, you can see, okay, now it's not locked. It's a bit confusing at first because we cannot see what's locked and what's not. And this is one of the things my tool makes better. But first, let's take a look on how it is if I want to lock the entire hand, which is made of all these parts here. There is the hand, there is the fingers. Each finger has 3 parts and a metacarpal, which means there are at least 16 different parts on a hand if I want to lock it up. I have to go select each one at a time, come here to object and click on lock. I have to repeat this process at least 15, 16 times, and that's tedious. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. And this is one of the things that the Master makes better. For example, let's see how the tool works with locking. As you can see, it has now 4 times more functionality than it had last time I made a demonstration on YouTube. And let's start with locking. How do I lock things with LockMaster? It uses the hierarchy that all poser figures use. What does that mean? Let's say, for example, the hip. The hip is the parent of everything in any poser figure. What does that mean? If I select here the moving tool and I have the hip selected, if I move it, everything moves with it. The entire body moves with the hip because it's the parent of everything. So let's say the hand is the parent of all fingers. Whatever I do to the hand, all fingers will move with it. And this is how we make selections with the LockMaster. If I select the hand and choose with lock mode active, and I click me, which means whatever is selected, and children means everything that belongs to what's selected. If I click me and children, all parts of the hand, including the hand, get affected. And this is doing with one click what in Poser would take like 16 actions by hunting menus to do each one. Select a part, freeze it, select a part, lock it, and so on. With LockMaster is one click. Select the hand, for example, if I want to unfreeze, I click the same button, but this time with the right click. By right clicking the button, um, it unfreezes, it undoes the selected action. For example, if I select this body part here and select me with the left click, it locks it, and right click uh, unlocks it. So that's how it works. Let's say I want to freeze the entire arm. So I select the color. If you look here, the color is the parent of the entire arm. How do I know that? I can look at the hierarchy editor, or I can try to move it and see what moves with it. Whatever moves with it will be affected by these buttons here. So I select the color, me and children, and the entire arm is locked. All right, I think you get the point. If I want to freeze the right leg, I select the parent of the parts I want and click me and children. That's how it works. If I right click everything, it will unfreeze everything no matter what's selected. All right, let's put some practical examples of how this is useful with poses. For example, let's get the standing pose, this one, and I want to preserve this arm pose here when I apply another pose. So I select the arm, freeze it when it is in the pose I want to preserve. And now, that's so cool. You can finally see what's locked when we use this tool. Let's say I apply walking one pose on top of this. As you can see, the locked parts remain in the pose they were. This is great for when I want to use parts of one pose on another. Let's do another example. I'm going to unfreeze everything by right-clicking everything. And let's get a pose where she has a hand on her head, like walking two. And I want to preserve this pose here where the hand is on the head. Now, if I apply another pose, like walking one, that hand stays what it is. All frozen parts, or as you may, locked parts will stay where they are. So you can apply different poses and build new poses from poses you already have. That's pretty cool. All right, you get the point now. If I want one last example, if I want to let's unlock everything first and select the pelvis and lock it. This is going to lock both legs. Just one last example. And if I, let's include the hip on this. Select hip, put me, and if I select another pose, now I can get that pose from the feet combined with standing one pose on the upper body. So that's how we can combine different poses by using locking. All right, let's go on with the demo by showing what the other parts, the new ones, do. For example, reset. If I want to reset a part, first of all, what does reset mean? It means I'm going to remove, let's select a hand here, for example. With the hand selected, reset means all the operations you see here, which means rotation, translation, and scale and morphs, all of them are going to be zeroed. So let's select the hand and choose me and children. You'll see the pose is gone. And if I had any morphs, like, for example, the fist or anything that was applied to the hand, that would be removed. So reset affects everything. Let's do an example here. I'm going to put the fist pose. I'm going to select the hand, which is where the morph is set. And I'm going to say reset me, which means only the hand. As you can see, the morphs are affected. One detail about this is that only morphs that have dials that control the morph on the part you are operating on, for example, the fist has a control dial on the hand, only those will be affected. For example, I cannot remove the body part from the hand by doing this. That's just how it works. Now let's see, let's apply that pose again, or another pose, doesn't matter. And zero pose. What does zero pose do? How is it different from reset? Reset removes everything: translations, rotations, scale, and dial settings. If I want to remove pose, only the pose, which means only the rotations, only this part here, rotations, from this arm, I select zero pose and me and children. As you can see, only the rotations are affected. Let's do some tweaking here. I'm going to reset only the hand, the pose, and apply a fist. It's another example of what you can do. And just to prove that this does not affect dials, I'm going to do zero pose in the entire arm, and you see this, the fist remains. That's the difference between zero pose and reset. All right, last part is visibility toggle. The name explains more or less what it does. For example, if I select the pelvis on dawn and I select visibility toggle and click on me, only that part is affected. If I right click it, it brings it back. If I select me and children, everything that belongs to the pelvis, you can see here what parts belong to the pelvis in the hierarchy editor, which means all the lower body gets affected. While having it still selected, if I right click it, it brings it back. So if I want to hide the entire upper body, I select here the abdomen 1 and click me and children. Right click brings it back. So there's a lot of this. Right click does the action and left click undo it. The only exceptions are reset and zero pose, because there is no undoing for those things. For example, if I reset the arm, I don't have an undo for that unless you apply the pose again. Let's do that now. So either if you right or left click the buttons when you are in reset or zero pose will do the same thing. There is no undoing for those parts. And I think that covers everything. Thanks for watching.